All right, welcome everybody. The irony's great. Still learning how to do a live stream here. I think I've got my mic working, and we'll test the premise here, and hopefully we can get the video stream working from the broadcast. I'm going to be a little bit late, but I'll hopefully, start over and be able to capture the essence of the OpenAI demo, and then we'll jump into some vibe coding, hopefully some using of the GPT-5 as soon as it's available to pro users if we get access. Usually they get a rolling update, and for some reason I'm not top of the list, but hey, if we do this live streaming thing enough, maybe it will boost me up on that list, get me more preferential access. Come on, Sam, hook it up. But this is episode 1 of a vibe coding series that we're going to do together. We're going to build an event planning website together in public. We're going to pull together tools like V0, Cursor. We're going to be working with Next.js and GoHighLevel, ChatGPT, Perplexity, N8N. The goal is to collaborate together as a group and learn in public and share what I'm learning and this new workflow that I'm adopting, trying to be a solopreneur. And today, the goal is to hopefully go through this ChatGPT 5 demo. I'm going to pause and intervene and talk a little bit about what these things mean and how they're relevant, and maybe some of the use cases available to us as we start to adopt these AI models into our workflows. Pretty exciting what I've been able to see so far from the OpenAI demo, and I'll look forward to going through that again with everybody here. Hopefully, if I can get the video restreaming or rebroadcasting working. So let me go back to the beginning here, and then we'll jump around a bit. But I have a couple of plans for today, and once this demo's done, we'll go ahead and jump into our vibe coding session together. But let me text my wife a little bit and see if I can get her feedback on whether or not the video and audio are coming through from OpenAI.
Good morning.
Let's see.
32 months ago, we launched
ChatGPT. Any audio here at all.
And since then, it has become the default way that people use AI. In that first week, 1 million people tried it out. And we thought that was
what we got here. All right. Can you hear me? I think you can. If you can't hear me or the audio from the let's see if we can. The video is working. Okay.
It's pretty incredible.
But there's no. Can you hear the audio on the video?
About 700 million people use ChatGPT every week, and increasingly rely on it to work, to learn, for advice, to create, and much more.
I can be heard, but the audio from the video can't be heard yet. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure that out. So, screen capture. This is my first time using OBS Studio, which is a pretty cool tool. Free and open source. Takes a little bit of configuration, but if that if you're looking to live stream, this is a great tool that gives you a pretty quick and easy setup, interfaces directly with YouTube, and it sounds like a lot of folks use this. And the screen audio should be coming through. So let's just see, how far into this am I? Negative 57 minutes.
What was better? Yeah, it was really fast.
Audio still isn't working. for me here. This is super fun to watch people configure their settings, but that's all right. We're going to figure this out. And I guess that's the point of learning in public. That's the name of the series, Learn in Public. Let's see. Okay, audio. I wonder if it'll be interesting to see these settings. Desktop audio showing as disabled. And I wonder why. It's not giving me another option to change that. Well, if the audio doesn't work, then we'll just jump into our plan today of building in public, and maybe that's a sign from the universe. I don't think that's quite what we need. Output, it's probably super obvious to people. Who know what they're doing. Mic auxiliary. I got my mic mini on. Desktop audio is disabled. Why is desktop audio disabled? All right. Desktop audio. Verify your audio device. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. System tray. Right-click the speaker icon in your system tray. So it's showing okay. Let's see if if I'm not on.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpenAI has launched.
Looks like audio is not working. So let's forego this and jump right into live coding an app with V0. So let me get my sort of script out here. Okay, pivot. So there's going to be like common structure to this learning in public series, right? And I wanted to kind of anchor, like this is going to be me working and kind of speaking out loud. And the way I wanted to go about this was let's anchor every day, settle in and get the vibe right so that we can start to vibe code. I don't know if anybody is familiar with Rick Rubin, but he wrote this digital book, The Art of Vibe Coding. Let's go ahead. The Way of Code. So we're going to start with this, and then I'm going to jump into the specification, and we're going to read one or two verses from the Tao Te Ching too to get started. So this is going to be the daily practice. We'll read one verse from the Tao Te Ching, and we'll read one verse from The Way of Code by Rick Rubin, and then we will get started. Okay. Way of code. Chapter 1. Let's see. Does it give me... Looks like the second verse is the first. All right, 1. Okay, this is going to be 1 for 1 with the Tao. Rick Rubin writes, "The code that can be named is not the eternal code. The function that can be defined is not the limitless function. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things." That's a common, well, we'll find out together. That's something that shows up a lot in the Tao. Free from desire, you see essence unformed. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. These two spring from the same source, but differ in name only. This model is the mystery, the gateway to all understanding. This is the Tao by Lao Tzu. Rick Rubin is our Lao Tzu. And ideally, if this series works out, I get to do this next to Rick Rubin one day. That's how this goes. 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things. Ever desireless, one can see the mystery. Ever desiring, one can see the manifestations. These two spring from the same source but differ in name. This appears as darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gate to all mystery. Certainly echoes. Take whatever meaning you find. So let's get started. I am building for my wife and my favorite client ever and her sister a website for their event business. Now, initially it had been called Tailored Events, but the name of this business is now Just Lovely or Lovely Events. And yesterday we collaborated on a font stack and some overall colors and themes and designs, and I've been working in the background to sort of plan out how we're going to implement this. But I really wanted to start just like from the basics, and my goal is to hopefully give everybody who ends up consuming these videos a tutorial on how to use a variety of digital tools that can help them accomplish their goals in code and in digital outcomes. One of the things that Sam Altman's been talking a lot about is the rise of effectively fast fashion, the fast fashion era for code. And what that means is that we're getting to a place where software is going to become something of a commodity. It's going to become easier and easier to produce as the barrier to creating software is no longer highly trained engineers who end up being difficult to manage. And, you know, I've worked in a lot of those organizations, and it takes a certain skill to be able to work with a group of engineers and creative technical folks. There's a language barrier between idea and outcome in code. And the bigger the organization, the more complexity there is to try to manage in just communicating what your intentions are. And one of the most powerful things of these LLMs is the tool is they end up becoming intention translators. They can go from language to outcome in any number of ways. So they can understand audio and what audio means conceptually. so that it can give you text back. They can understand what words mean, so they can convert those to images. And now they can take these ideas and concepts and represent them as code, or as math, or as medical diagnostics. So there's an incredible translation capability that's happening in these large language models. And it's really exciting to be able to feel your own creative power kind of come to life from here. What does it's, you know, the 10,000 things that we're going to be that we create will come from this mysterious model, the gateway to all understanding. So there's a lot of tools out there that people are using, and I've spent a lot of time learning how to use these tools. And sometimes I learn best by just seeing how other people go about doing their business. So I have my own frameworks and approaches, and I really want to help people understand how to operate as a solopreneur in an era when digital tools and AI are empowering creativity to almost a maximum level. So we're going to start with this, with Just Lovely events for my wife and her sister, and then we're going to start working on a business called Rose's Fury, which is an e-commerce shop for my daughter, who's a brilliant artist who makes dragon puppets, and we're going to make it so she can sell those too. So we're going to try to cover a lot of different ground using tools that will empower solopreneurs to get more done with less and bring AI agents into their business. But first, we got to start at the beginning. So let's begin by creating a logo for Lovely or for Lovely, excuse me. And from this logo, the goal is to have a neo-brutalist website done today. So I'll show you real quick what that looks like. This is the component library we're going to be using. We're going to be using GoHighLevel, and for me, that's proxied by my business, cloudelephants.com, where we provide back office as a service and any number of digital services to help you get your business done, basically bring these tools to your business. One way to give it a try is you can go to cloudelephants.com and fill out this form, and I have an AI agent that will create a roadmap for you. It's pretty fun. But we're going to go through this from beginning to end, and I'm going to build my wife and her sister's events website in public starting today. I'm halfway done with my coffee. It was mostly ice. That's a mason jar of coffee. I better be amped. Okay. So let me pull over Figma and some of the reference materials that I have here. And I don't have chat set up yet, so if you're chatting with me, I won't be able to see any chat, and I apologize for that. So let's open up some of these images that give me oops. So this is the font that we picked yesterday. Let me quit Docker really quick, which is going to just be an absolute memory hog on my machine. And so we've got Docker closed. Here is our desired font stack. Let me open that up. And then our color families. and this is not going to be a final draft. I'll need to get approval from McKenna and Melinda, who are the clients in this case. I have a good relationship with both. Hopefully I don't ruin it by being obnoxious. Okay, so let's get started. Figma is a really great design tool. It's a collaboration tool. We can do everything from creating shared mood boards to images. It's like if Photoshop and Illustrator had a baby, and then that baby was bought by Adobe and they bastardized all the features. But this is what I use. So I want to go ahead. It looks like Berkshire Swash is the name of the font. So let's go ahead and start with an artboard. So I'm going to go ahead and first create just like a, I think we'll just start with text. Okay, and let's see if I have, and Lovely is the name, and the text, it's Berkshire Swash. I might have to install that font. Berkshire Swash. Looks like I've got it. So this logo is probably going to be pretty easy because they have a very clear idea of what they want. And my goal with the logo is to create an icon or a mark that gives that will show up really well in like 16 by 16, like, which is a very small format. Let me show you where. See this N for the neo-brutalism? If you go to other websites like on Google, let's just go to Google. You're going to see that little G, right? So we need our, for a digital web presence, we need our logo to work in a lot of different contexts, going from small to big. So you'll see a lot of different strategies for doing that. Some of them are going to be like, hey, let's just have the letter, right? So in this case, it might just be the L. I might add, and I warned my wife, she wants a very simple logo and she just wants it to be lovely. So I'm going to obviously bias to her preferences, but we might need to create a logo mark that accentuates just the text. Or since that's their preference, we might just go with an L, right? Lovely for me, for an event company, there's some notions of, it could be a flower, it could be, they're going to do balloon garlands, and birthday party kits specifically as one of their offerings. So we could do maybe balloons or a gift or flowers. So there's a lot of different options we can use here. And our inspiration is going to be this style layout. I think Dribbble, by the way, is a really great, yeah, this is a really great resource for exploring other people's design ideas around really anything. And you'll notice these are Dribbble shots that are tagged with neo-brutalism. So I tend to like the vector artwork that goes along with the neo-brutalist design. As you can see, there's very simple sort of line drawings, and they seem to show up really well alongside the bright colors that happen with neo-brutalism. And as an aside, leave a comment later if you're interested in, actually, my plan is all of the assets that I create in public. So if I end up creating an NPM library or NPM, that's like a website structure. If I can create a website template that other people can use, I'm going to create a place on my website where I'll upload all these resources and you'll be able to track them down. But see, again, I really like this line art here, and we worked through colors. My wife's favorite color is yellow. Her sister really loves this purple, and then we took some inspiration from a few different websites that she liked, and we came up with this color palette, color family. This is probably more colors than you normally would need. I'll note here in the default, if you're not someone who likes to think about these things, you can configure a lot of these and take inspiration from these tools. But here's configurations that come from the Neo-Brutalism library. So I'm using this as a reference to sort of understand what the design might look like, but the colors themselves will be specific to Lovely Events' preferences. So let's go ahead and save this. That's the yellow vibe, and I think we're going to kind of lean into that. We'll have a dark mode and a light mode, and we'll start by using V0. But let's get this logo done first. So as I kind of go through this, my normal workflow is something like this, and I think it's interesting, so I'm going to go ahead and share it. So we're going to use a bunch of tools here, okay? We're going to start with, we're going to use some ChatGPT, and we'll just keep hoping that, actually we're going to use a lot of stuff today. Let's just give him the full Monty, okay? My friend Monty, I love that name, and I got to get better at calling people. Miss Monty, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I like this flat vector line art, and I think we can call it a cartoon. And let's see, do we get 05 yet? It's not there yet. Okay, we're gonna use 04 high for visual reasoning. We're gonna go to tailored events, and I worked with ChatGPT using deep research and McKenna and Melinda yesterday to come up with a pretty detailed specification on what our website needs to be. But for now, I want to come up with some design ideas for the logo. So if I'm live streaming and my brain's kind of split between a few different things at once, the way I use AI to help me think through a problem is I see myself as the person who's steering the ship. So I need to think about where we're going, and I probably shouldn't be turning the wheel like this or else everybody's going to get seasick. So I got to go from waypoint to waypoint with while the ship's going towards that first waypoint and to the second, I need to make sure we avoid the obstacles that show up. But one way I go from waypoint to waypoint is by getting an AI to help me think through the instructions. So let's use Perplexity to come up with a specification. So act as an expert in neo-brutalism and design. Please create a rich and detailed explanation of what a neo-brutalist logo would look like, as well as a cartoon illustration guide for the artwork included in a Neo prompt. But I'm asking Perplexity to do some research from the web and to come up with a design guide, right? Some rules and instructions. So neo-brutalist logo look like. A neo-brutalist logo defies slick minimalism and instead embraces a visually bold, raw, and attention-grabbing aesthetic. So thick, unapologetic outlines, Logos often appear drawn with chunky borders, almost as if they were cut from construction paper. Okay, so I'm pretty good with this. I'm not going to give it instructions on typography because we've already made that decision together as a group. I'm going flat and solid drop shadows. That's a key element. And playful and abstract, that's certainly something that's showing up here, right? I mean, I think it captured pretty well what we're talking about. So let's start with this set of instructions. And this conversation already has meaningful context for the business. And I'm thinking through what the right approach is here. But let's just go for it. So I always say thank you, and I try to treat. We don't get. You're gonna. Some weird part here. We don't know what consciousness is, and I'm pretty sure that consciousness is not something that exists outside of what Douglas Hofstadter calls a strange loop. So we're not dealing with consciousness quite yet. But while it's operating, one of the things that folks are finding in trying to probe, test, and otherwise jailbreak these LLM models is that when you do things that appear to emotionally manipulate, they yield different behaviors. And that might be because they're trained on language, video, audio created by humans, so their sense of understanding the world is rooted in our lymphatic system and our emotional sort of state and well-being. But I don't think we're to sentience quite yet. I have an idea for what that would look like, but we'll set that aside. So I always try to be kind. So I usually say things like, thank you, and I try to respect the beingness of the model. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with trying to be humane in one's approach to how we interact with the world around us. So come at me. This is how I do it. But I also think there's a method in the madness. They say something about attracting more flies with honey than with vinegar. So if I want a better outcome, I might as well be nice. just some food for thought. So for this rich description, to now create the logo for Lovely. Here are the design guide. Okay, so I'm going to take those instructions from Perplexity, and that triple backtick right here is like a way you embed a page in Markdown. Markdown is a format for text that allows for like rich formatting. If you don't know what that is, I'm just trying to explain it. So like this font is bigger, this font is bold, these fonts are bolded, and this font's slightly bigger and bolded, this font is just bold. This font is italic, there's an icon. So there's a language, a format used to communicate back and forth between the LLM that it's sort of familiar with. So this is just me saying, hey, here's some embedded instructions that break the flow, and you should treat these as sort of a code block, effectively. So here are the design rules. I'll re-emphasize what I'm trying to do. I'd like you to come up with 10 to 15 logo concepts, neo-brutalist, that keep with the brand identity and and voice. Your prompts, your concepts should be rich descriptions and include a prompt for Midjourney V7. Now let's go ahead. Okay. So somebody's got a nice prompt guide here for V7 of Midjourney, which is the most recent version. And I'm almost out of credits, unfortunately, on my video generation, so we're going to be a little bit limited. So V7. Okay, I want images, image prompts only. Video prompt guidelines. This looks video specific. Maybe I need to be more specific in my query. Okay, this is better because this is their docs. Okay. Okay, right here. Don't know if I want it. I just want basic rules. Okay. As defined by these documents, these best practices. And once again, code block. Okay, so this should be giving us 10 to 15 image ideas, logo concepts based on the brand and style guide that it already has in its chat memory. And like I said, we work through products, value props, all the sort of most important foundational elements that will allow us to get better outcomes. At another point, I'll share how to create those too. But for today, okay. So this is just the word lovely. All caps lettering from heavy cardstock for lovely. Okay, interesting. This is all caps again. Playful integration of two eyes doodled inside the first O of lovely. Okay. Each letter of lovely sits inside its own square block. Not sure if I love that. I think I should have it be instead. Now this, I can just sort of redirect it. Those are great. However, I'm just looking to create a brand mark as we already have the font for the logo text decided. Let's create 10 to 15 let's just create 15 logo mark descriptions that will help us create the logo. Help us create artwork / logo mark alongside the text. Okay. Need to align this prompt a little bit. So I'm thinking something that we can layer here or maybe underneath the Y. Okay, this is a lot. So it thought very similarly how I thought. First, a heart, blocky balloon, a retro clip art star, that's fun, a blocky balloon, simplified, a grotesque flower, interesting, pixelated sparkle, okay, that could be fun, a chubby party hat, so like a sort of chunky party hat, awesome. I think these are great concepts. And so let's go for it. So I'm going to take these concepts, and I really like the first few, and we're going to start creating in Midjourney. And you'll see I was already working on some concepts here. So let's start with this chunky heart outline. And this will be a multi-step process, but let's see what it yields. Okay, a blocky balloon. Hopefully I don't run out of credits by the time it's done. And these are all image prompts, good. It's literally got the words heart inside it, and there's a heart. Oh, I love that heart, that's cute. Okay. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Okay, not loving that. I think I want to have, I think conceptually, I like this one. I think we're going to like this one. A doodle confetti burst. So we're just getting concepts for now. This is not going to be the final version. And that is definitely not a party hat. That is a toque, as they say in Canada. Okay. I'm not loving this. I'm not loving these results. Okay. Let's review those and ensure that the style is a flat cartoon / SVG illustration style that goes well with neo-brutalism on the web. Not quite in love with any of these, although there's some promise, I think, here, and what I'm really looking for are flat, sort of brightly colored, better aligned. Actually, I can take the color here. Let's see if this gives us a slightly better outcome. And I will add a style reference that takes the colors that we chose. And we'll do the same here. And I think I'm going to want to tell it that I need a transparent background. Sometimes jumping okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. These are simple. There's the balloon. And we'll keep the, I like the better, we're getting better color outcomes. That's kind of unique. It's a balloon from the bottom. I still love this idea of a pixelated sparkle. I just don't know. Midjourney hasn't always been great at transparent background. Oh, that's kind of fun flower. That's a fun flower. So we're a long way from done. So if anybody's feeling like this is terrible, let's take the style and the prompt and the image, and we'll do some updates. Okay, let's see if it takes the transparent background. That's a pixelated sparkle. Kind of doesn't work. Conceptually it's good, but I think I like this guy as a shape. Okay. Oops. There we go. Keep the colors. Image prompt. Flat cartoon SVG Neo Brutalist. Now I'm letting the image do a lot of the talking here, because these image references should be guided by the text. But I want the images to do most of the work because I want an output that's similar to these images. So I think I chose and basically reprompting, but with new context as the input. Transparent background. Okay. What else we got here? Not loving the sparkle, struggling with the background. That's kind of fun, but we're going to lose a little bit of that fuzziness. You know what? I'll save that to my desktop there. And we'll just go with it. That's a funny. Midjourney and logos is not something I've fully figured out yet, but I'm not loving these quite yet. I think sometimes it helps to say you want that's decent, but we can create that sort of on our own in other ways. What I'm looking for is line art. I'm not quite getting it. I think white background does better. Let's try this one. It does better with a white background, it appears. Okay. Prompt style image. Sometimes you get this logo award winner. Okay, getting a little closer. I don't like the X here, but that was in the prompt. I do like this balloon. It's kind of giving me something to work with. Don't know how that will show up. Okay, let's try this guy again. Single yellow balloon. Art. Vector line art. Neo-brutalism. Logo mark. White background. Okay, we're getting a little bit better here. Still not quite where we want to be. We could do a heart in a box. Got some shapes to play with, that's for sure. This balloon face is pretty fantastic. They're a little too melancholy, but I can work with it. Okay. And is there anything else that's sort of jumping out at me? Let's take this guy as inspiration still, because we could do the purple and pink petals. That's a really cute little icon, but not quite for this use case. And I like that. Let's add our colors. And with no text, white background, dribble award winner. Really what we're trying to do here is get through, this is sort of like how we would be collaborating as a team with an artist. Give me, versions of this concept. It just keeps having heart in it, which is hilarious. And it's spelled differently every time. and it's not quite what I'm looking for. It's because the initial image has it. Let's go. Let's just try this. There we go. Okay, this is starting to have more of the energy I was hoping for. And we can adapt the colors as we see fit. Okay, cool. The logo Just for Lovely has a heart in it. Everybody sort of thinks that that's what it should have. And by everybody, I mean all these different models. Okay, these are my friends. That kind of has like a sunset appeal. I wonder what these numbers have to do. I think that's a fun shape. Okay. For now, let's go to the next step. And we'll open up a new chat. And we're going to give OpenAI the tool to create an image. And I think coloring book. Let's go ahead and give it the neo-brutalism rules. So here are the design guidelines. I'll put that in a block, and I'll upload a couple of these images that I liked. I think we should start. So ChatGPT does a much better job at generating transparent images, and you'll see why that's important coming up here. Let's start with the balloon. And then actually, let's give it all of our inspiration. Let's just see. And you know what? Let's give it the text too. Let's just go for it. We're learning in public. Okay. So we should be able to give it feedback from its results. It's a lot easier to collaborate with the image model in ChatGPT. I like to use Midjourney because it tends to give me a wider variety of options to choose from, and then I can kind of narrow it down and use what I like as inspiration. But we'll see what this gives. I want to so we'll need 16 by 16, I think. Okay. Logos for different platforms, 160 by 160. All right, let's do 500 by 500 inside Figma. Oh, my computer's going slow. Okay. And I should be able to so we'll design within that frame. Okay, looks like it is doing what I was hoping that it would do and giving us a slightly harsher line that's really rigidly black and white. Aw, it's got eyes in the heart. That's really great. I like this. Okay. And we got two options here. There's the transparent background. One's, oh, that's fun. Okay. I like this because it's happier. So I'll download this one. And let's see if I can pull this image over here. And then I like it because it's got a cool character vibe and we can get him to show up in different places on the app. Okay. Oh, he's super cute. Okay, cool. Now let's do a balloon. Love it. Let's now do a balloon. And then, man, it just seems like the images are much better aligned that come out of ChatGPT. I just don't always love its art style, although I guess it mostly because it has this sort of distinct line art style that Midjourney has seems to support a wider range of art styles. ChatGPT kind of, if you ask it to make a cartoon, there's a very distinct look to it, and I can show you some of what I've created there. Not saying it's bad or otherwise. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, this is what I was going for. I love this one. Let's take that one here. And I think we have enough to go on. And I like the sparkle idea. This is great. Can you do an abstract? Can you do a representation of a sparkle and confetti in this style? Ensure to capture the feelings of loveliness and fun. I really like that balloon though. I really love the balloon in the heart. So we're gonna have good options for McKenna and Melinda out of this. Again, you can see that we're iterating, we're cycling on different design concepts and ideas. Now I'm going to take these concepts that we like the most and we'll move them into Figma and we'll work on converting them into the right format. And then from there, we'll jump into to the next part that I'm kind of excited. Oh, fun. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Okay. Little too simple here. Oh man, they're kind of, this is going to be a little bit easier to work with. I just don't know if it's too abstract. That definitely gives sparkle. So let's take that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to jump out of this window for now. And now I'll get into some tactical things. So I'll pull these images into Figma. There's our heart. Here's our balloons. Oh, I didn't mean to pull it into the artboard. So I should have the balloon, the sparkle, and the heart. Right? And my computer's running slow, but that's okay. It's because I'm live streaming. We're doing it live, like Mr. O'Reilly said. Okay, how do I did this wrong. I pulled it into the, don't want that in the artboard. Whatever. Okay, so one of the reasons I like having a transparent background is it makes this next step much easier. So I want to now run an automation on this, and I have this plugin that goes vectorize bitmap, and it takes the image and converts it into line art vectors. So now I can manipulate it and work with it however I need. So this is a pretty straightforward way of converting image art into now vector art that you can scale and adapt to however you need. So the reason these lines are showing up here is how many colors do we see? 1, 2, 2 colors. So there should only be 2 colors, which means my lines should follow those 2. And then I want this to have a cartoon layout. Maybe it's picking up a third color. Buffer. And I don't want to merge the colors. Boom. That's what I'm looking for. So now we got our heart guy converted. And just to show you that, let's go ahead and give him the yellow body, FCD3EC. Copy text from an image. That's AI. Kind of amazing. Okay. So now we have our little heart guy in the color that we want. Let's give it another. We could also create the outlines to, or we got the purple too, right? Actually, because they're sisters, maybe we should have 2 different hearts next to each other with a balloon next to them. Now I'm getting complicated, but there's the purple heart and there's the yellow heart. 2 different sisters. Okay, now we'll convert this one, vectorize the bitmap. This one has, I think, 2 colors, but it'll probably pick up more. And we want cartoon because that changes how the lines are drawn. We'll give it 3 colors. It's above. Oh, there's white, so that'll be the 3rd color. I don't want to merge the colors. I do want to reduce noise, which is good. It gets a little, like we still have some of those little grungy elements, but not all of them. Because the style is hand-drawn, vector art. So we'll go ahead and we'll click in here. We'll delete that background. Yay, and now we have our little yellow balloon. And we'll get the fill color to be the same as this guy. Oops. There we go. It's just going very slow. And our purple friend, again, we can just organizing our stuff. I kind of think it's going to be the balloon, but we'll see. And then we'll do the same here. That vectorized bitmap, you'll just need to search on Slack on Figma for that tool, and then you should be able to install it from there. Don't want to merge the colors. Do need to probably handle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's give it 6. There we go. You usually see like a fuzzy line break if it splits, and sometimes that line split can be a problem. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the white behind. Oh, not the whole thing. Cool. Okay. And there's our lovely. So let's take this lovely and we'll boost up the size here. And then we'll want to convert lovely into vector art as well. But before we do that, I like to try a couple of different. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. We'll keep that here and we'll convert this one. And we're going to convert it to, we're going to outline the stroke, I believe. Outline stroke. That basically makes it a shape. Okay, cool. So now we've got lovely, and we can mess with the colors and the combinations as we see fit. So we're going to be, because this has taken us some time and I want to be able to get to, yeah, we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and I wanted to get this done within 2 hours. The stream, not all of it. It's going to take a little bit more time, but we'll pick up where we leave off tomorrow. And I'll need some feedback. So let's go ahead and try, we'll call this guy lovely. Our little lovely. All right. We can make him have a white background. Nah. Maybe we can make the black the color. No, let's just keep it the way we want it. And then we could now make this slightly more aligned to our design pattern. Bring forward. Oh man. Bring front. Let's go ahead now, get our artboard back. Okay, so we'll get this thing sized. Let's align them in the center. I'm going to group them together. And it's very wide right now. I'm dealing with 1,000 pixel source images. Aww. That is lovely. Okay. I think this needs to be aligned. Like the L and the heart are sitting in the same place. Okay. That is lovely. That's lovely 1. And we'll do lovely 2 here with a yellow balloon. See if I can just paste and replace here. And I'll scale it down. I think it's scaled a little bit. Okay. Cool. Now I like the heart, but we'll see what McKenna and Melinda like. And then, but we'll use the heart as a starting place for our web design. And there's like 50 things I want to do. What's the right next step? I'll just finish this really quick so I can get feedback. And obviously we've got more options, but I'm going to use the yellow heart, lovely, and then we'll have a purple heart, lovely. I really like that little character guy. Okay. Cool. Let's call this logo concepts. And I'll export it and share it for feedback. One of the cool things about, I had a phone. Where'd I put my phone? Oh, there it is. It's under the Dow. Oh, it says my video paused. Or my wife said that. Okay. Well, this might be a bust, but I still got the logo done. Okay. So we've exported the logo. Concept. Oh, it didn't export right. Okay. Now I should export. I'll replace it. Where did you go, tiny logo concept? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to copy this and share it. There we go. Image, pasted, and sent for feedback. Cool. So I'm going to start here. And just export this as a logo. Okay. And we'll close Figma because it's chewing up my memory and bandwidth here. Now we're going to jump into building for the web using V0, but I'm going to grab something from GitHub that I've been using, and this might be a bit aggressive, but again, we're going to try something out. And I'm looking for my package JSON, and I've got all of these components. I'm going to create this over. Okay, we're gonna go really quick and scaffold out a marketing website for um, uh, lovely events, leveraging V0. And I'm using V0 because it will create my GitHub repo, and it will create a process that allows me to deploy and test, and then I can pull this in to Codex. Whoa, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. Should we try GPT-5? No way. Wait, so that might mean that GPT-5 is live for users too, which is really cool. Okay, so I'm going to create a new project, and let's try a couple of things here. Like to build a neo-brutalist website, marketing website. That includes these components and dependencies. Now, I know that these are a bunch of libraries that I'm going to ultimately end up needing. And because I already have I might have to refresh to get access to 05. Well, I know what I'm doing after this live stream, even though the title says GPT-5. Sorry, everybody. Wasn't able to stream the demo, and I'll have to include that in learnings at another time, because we're cranking away on vibe coding the lovely website. So I worked with GPT to come up with a content plan and overall UX that has the objective of integrating into GoHighLevel, based on their backstory and all of these, all of the sort of details that I had been working with McKenna and Melinda on in building their site. So I wonder if this here is the site spec. And because this is GPT-5 that we're working with, let's just go full send. This might be too long. So here's the installation docs. This is a lot of context. Okay, let's see how it goes. Either way, we're going to get access. Well, it took the full spec. It did not tell me that the prompt was too long. So we're really going to test 05's capabilities here. Well, maybe not the capabilities, but as someone who's been professionally a front-end web developer for a while, this is a significant amount of work and a significant amount of context. A lot of details about all of the content and copy, design preferences. I'm including libraries that I expect to show up, and then initialized app. I'm going to create a GitHub repo, and well, let me explain what that is for folks who might be new to vibe coding. Version control is like a way you manage drafts. So in code, you're making a lot of changes, and those changes in code can have a really big impact on whether or not the site works between different versions. And if more than one person or more than one agent is collaborating on the same code base, you need a mechanism to know if things are working or not. So I didn't tell it I wanted it to be TypeScript. TypeScript ends up helping because the linter kind of helps guide cursor as it's implementing, and that's kind of where we're going next. But basically what we're going to do is scaffold this thing out using V0, or if GPT-5 is capable enough, maybe we'll just get the app we want. I'll be able to customize it. I'll pull in my logo. I gave it a package. Sorry, I got distracted by the thoughts that were streaming across. So when you create a GitHub repository, that's where people can collaborate. People and agents can collaborate over developing software together. And one of the reasons that's important is some agents have been known to blow away a code base, or some humans have been known to make really bad mistakes. And if you want to go back to a previous working version, committing and saving your code in GitHub is a way that you can keep track of the versions and make sure things don't break. So regularly committing regularly at the right interval is a way to make sure that your apps don't break as you work on adding features or improving them. So what we're going to do is we're going to scaffold out the app. We're going to save it. We're going to get it to a place that we're happy with. We're going to save it. And then we'll leverage the benefits of the V0, which is the Next.js Vercel ecosystem. And that will give us the ability to rapidly deploy, to be able to manage environment variables, some of the other things that go into hosting and managing a production app that scales. You end up paying for it when your app gets some traffic or traction. But the vast majority of folks can get fairly affordable web presences hosted on Vercel. And it's fast. It's really fast because you end up having a static application. This is going to be built in React. When I ask it for a next app, it uses React under the hood, so that will give us the ability to have things that move and interact with data on the site. We can save values into the browser, like cookies, or what they call local storage, which is one way to save information or data fetched from other places so you don't have to go back and make another web request. Ultimately, this will be a really great way for me to start working with multiple AI agents who will be then generating code on top of this app. So first step, we'll scaffold it out, and then we will see how well it did, and we'll massage it a little bit to get the outcome that we want. And once we're ready, push it to GitHub, and then hopefully publish it to the web in the next couple of days with the look and feel and some of the basic marketing features that we want, so that we can then introduce GoHighLevel integrations or N8N integrations that will make it easier for McKenna and Melinda to run their business. Some of the things we're thinking about, if I submit a form and I have a party idea, one of the things that takes a lot of time is coming up with a proposal for that idea. And that's like searching the web, finding the right colors of balloons, finding accessories or party accessories that might make the party look and feel the way the customer wants. So imagine submitting a form on the website and then having Perplexity go out and do some research. That research comes back. Maybe some mock-up images are created or even discovered online, and it accelerates ideally the process of creating an idea book for the customer so that they can know exactly what they're getting, and we can start to define the details of the party without as much human overhead. So customers get really quick responses with really rich information that help them effectively plan their party. So it looks like it's creating the different pages that I was hoping for. It's creating the about page. It did not tell it I wanted a bento layout in some pages. I've found that that's generally hard for, that's a generally hard layout to get to get the AI to handle right now. So I got feedback. I got feedback that the logo is no good. So we'll probably end up working, the client wanted the Y to have something at the end. I hope it's a flower, maybe a gift box, or maybe something like sparkly like confetti. Okay, looks like it generated some code, and now it's rendering the preview. I mean, this is pretty comprehensive. Let's see if it nailed the neo-brutalism implementation as I kind of hope and expect. That would be awesome. Okay. Next.js router conventions. Wow. Okay, it's a little bit heavy on wow. Okay. I mean, I don't have as much. Sorry, gotta like, okay. Wow, that was. So my initial, I'm gonna have some initial notes. Let's make sure that all the links are clickable. Doesn't look like they're clickable right now. Oh, I was clicking on home. So here's the birthday kits. It's got a product page. Cool. Yes, this is fantastic. I've only got, the only notes I have are the header. Cool. The GoHighLevel calendar. I don't like the gradients so much, but I didn't tell it anything about the colors. So we'll give it colors, and we'll give it font stack. This is great. Okay. Wow. Okay, cool. Let's jump in. This is fantastic. Some notes. The header and footer should have margin before the top of the window and the bottom of the page. The cards should take the solid colors from our design palette. So primary, here's a primary color. Secondary. Wow, it handled a lot of complexity. No gradients. Here are the colors. and then I'll do the same for the font families. Primary, secondary, tertiary, black, white, gray, so actually the black is this, white is white. Okay. Fonts. Oops. Bias towards light font weights. Okay. Let's also add, I'm giving it a lot of complexity because it can clearly handle it. Let's also add animations on hover and ensure that all cards that have links are clickable. Cool. Wow. Sorry, this is quite amazing. Okay. Sorry, this is really fantastic. So we're going to add some animations. We're going to, we gave it some design notes. We wanted it to change spacing, get rid of the gradients. We wanted it to take our color and font preferences. And we told it some specific things like, hey, we want to bias towards light font weights for a certain font. We want our title fonts to be in the logo font, which is Berkshire Swash. I think I have that right. Yeah, Berkshire Swash. And anywhere it says lovely, we want the logo text or the logo font to be used. Sorry, this is quite amazing. I do want to give maybe a little feedback generally. There's a lot of work between here and then a production site. but this part is tedious and time and can take a lot of time. And to have it just sort of done in one message is pretty extraordinary. So it'll be very interesting to see how, hopefully Codex, because the next part of the flow for me is to go from here into Codex to extend using Codex. In fact, while this is working, I'll just show you some of what I've been doing to sort of prepare. To prepare for the live stream and for this client who I knew had, we had talked about the design preferences. I was, well, here, I'll show you what I was working on most recently for my main website, Cloud Elephants. I'm going to build a YouTube integration for this series that will allow me to we're going to have one of the things we'll talk about at a different episode is, hey, can I create a learning in public section for my app that takes a feed of rows from Airtable, and so I'm working on top of something that started in V0 with Codex, and if it's now using GPT-5, Codex is going to become even more reliable because it's significantly improved fairly recently. But I've consistently extended, and I haven't pulled in my other details here, but like here. Not exactly how I want it yet, but pretty good. Like a pretty good default boilerplate, that's going to be connected to YouTube and Airtable so that I can easily publish my content across my website so that it's easy for people to find and interact with. And if there's any YouTube or any Instagram post as a follow-up to this, it will be visible there. So I've been asking Codex to extend something I created in V0, but I honestly think I'm really happy with what Lovely Events is getting, because this is a really great design, and obviously it's building on what I had learned from the first go around. But I'm going to take I might end up stealing parts of this site for myself because this looks great. And I think it much better implements the core neo-brutalism components that I was hoping. So what did it think? So it's going to update the palette and no gradients, swap the solid colors in the CSS module. It's going to add the Google fonts. It's going to add hover animations. I'm having some bandwidth issues on my end. I need to stop the stream here. The stream here. Getting really bad latency on my end. I love Cox. No. I love my internet provider, which is Cox. X. Come on, get it together, you guys. Okay, so it's working it through. This is where we maybe would play chess, or if I had better latency, I would be streaming the OpenAI demo, but my computer's running pretty slow because of the streaming. let's maybe kill some of these Chrome windows because Chrome can be bloatware at times, and then see if we have access to GPT-5 yet. It's not showing up. And I'll make sure I kill any things running that shouldn't be. Okay, they want a retro flower, so I'll have to revisit the logo, and maybe tomorrow I'll jump in with a finalized feedback. Still no access to 5. No. Okay, it's gonna come today at some point. Looks like V0 and Vercel got it before me. I'm sure it didn't, come without a price tag. I wonder how many changes this is making or if it's running slow. Cool, here it is. I think regardless of whether or not this is perfect already, just given the time, and I wanted to wrap this stream up after 2 hours, is we'll go ahead and create the repository, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll hopefully tomorrow jump in with Codex, and okay, we got our colors. Does that look like a gradient or no? It's using the sans serif for the title. That's fine. We'll work with it. This is not perfect. It needs some massaging. It fixed the margins. See how it looks. It looks like it's responsive. Generally good, although not quite ready for production yet, and that's okay because we're going to work through this with Codex and with Cursor tomorrow. My computer might just like explode while I'm using Cursor tomorrow based on how this went today. But let's just click through the links. So we got the home link. Sorry, I did that again, second time. I never like home links, so I'm gonna have that stripped. Got little animations on the cards. The cards are clickable. We'll be able to get nice little images for the birthday kits. These will highlight the gallery. Let's see about the about page. Okay, we'll have to change that because it's not quite right, but these are all things that are easy to change. There we go. Whoa, the button comes out. That's kind of fun. We'll change that too. And then the contact, what's the form look like? Not ideal, but we'll change that, and then we'll have the cool. So for a very basic, we're gonna need a blog, we're gonna need some other things. We'll get that kicked off tomorrow. But I think as a starting point, we're in a great place, and adding a light mode and a dark mode will kind of be next. So, well, a bunch of things are next. So this is a really great start. I don't love the way that it picked the font combinations or how to lay out. But again, I didn't give it anything other than, hey, let's use the fonts that I'm using. And you'll note it's using Lovely there. It should be using the Lovely font there. Here we go. There we have a calendar that's going to show up here. So this is great. This is great. Oh, I love this. We'll add search and filters. Fantastic. So now that we have a good foundation that we're going to work from, and again, we got to pull in our logo. Once that gets designed and agreed upon, we're going to have copy and content and text for all of these pages. We're going to need to work with GoHighLevel, and we're going to create an AI voice receptionist. Oops. We're going to create an AI voice receptionist. We're going to create lead funnels and lead magnets. They're going to have Instagram and TikTok. But that's going to take some work, and we'll do that over time together over this stream. So as a first order, let's go ahead and create and publish this. I'm trying to remember exactly how you do this. I believe okay, we're going to connect it to my repo, and this is going to be just lovely events website. All right. So that should show up in GitHub here soon. And we should be able to explore all the code. Cool. So let's go to GitHub, and I'll go to ChatGPT and connect this, and I'll show really quick. I'll have to go to a different screen to do that. Still no access to O5. Okay. Let's go to my repositories. Never can find these. All right, so here is the GitHub repo, and I'll manage my GitHub environment over here. I have to configure my repository access, but you're gonna see, okay, so here's all the code that was generated, right? And it was updated 1 minute ago. Here is the neo-brutalism. Got to use passkey to authenticate in. I think we have time to do one codex prompt. Just lovely events website. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to create a new, this might be an experience other folks might want to participate in. So we're going to create a new environment for Codex. So I have the Just Lovely Events website, a Next.js application for a website integrated with GoHighLevel as a CRM backend, and an Stripe and NAN to support an event planning business. Okay, so we're not going to do any custom configuration here because we just want to create the environment and then get started in creating our next task. So let me try to remember, what was the what was that? Okay, let's use this. Okay, just lovely. We're gonna have it give us one. So what was the feedback that we had? Let's update the site to do the following. We need a dark mode toggle. Let's remove the home link from the nav links and ensure the logo is clickable. I'm just going to give it tasks. Ensure the site is responsive. Let's remove the shadow from the main homepage title text. Let's You want to be careful about the upper limit, but again, I'm pretty sure Codex is still its own model, so I don't know if it's GPT-5 yet, but I'm going to just push it a hair just to see if that's if we see any marked improvement, you know, from one day to the next, especially after the GPT-5 release. So we want a dark mode toggle, the defaults to the user's preference. So if I have dark mode enabled on my site, on my computer, like I do here, then it should show dark mode. If I have light mode or nothing, then it should default to light mode. Let's ensure the site is responsive. Let's remove the shadow from the main homepage title text, or some other things I had noted. Let's change the heading font to be larger and use the lovely Berkshire Swash font. Okay, let's just start there. I'm trying to remember other things from the site that I wanted to change. Yeah, let's make the borders thinner. Yeah, okay. So we connected to our Just Lovely environment. We gave it a list of tasks, and we can see it work in real time. So what this is going to do is create a coding environment that installs all the packages and dependencies, and then iterates and works on code, and it will show us a list of code changes that it's made, and we will either approve or, you know, we're going to act like a code reviewer here, and we're going to tell it whether we like it or not and what it can change. And if it works and we like it, then we'll create a pull request. That pull request is a thing that says, okay, I want to take my code and I want to pull it into the code in the repository. So I want to update the version of the code, right? And we used v0 because v0 automatically comes with build and deployment tools that plug in with Vercel. So what we're going to have is these changes that are going to get made, and then we'll be able to see those changes deployed on a website that we can access from anywhere. Ultimately, when we configure our website to be publicly available, then our changes will be immediately seen once they're deployed and the code is merged into the primary branch, or the branch is often called main. What we should also ask is for, actually let's ask for it to do this too. Okay, we're going to ask it to create an agent's MD, and then I'm going to take this and be somewhat aggressive. Please update the content and copy of the website to comprehensively include the text here. This might break the size. This might be too long, but we'll see. So this is the website content outline that I came up with yesterday. Please add a blog called, there's a blog that has, please add a blog that has a call to action block promoted services and rich markdown using MDX, so we can embed so that I can configure rich blog articles using front matter and React components. Okay, so we're going to add a blog. MDX is Markdown that includes React, and front matter is a way of encoding data into Markdown. Ultimately, we'll be able to get AI agents to create those. And I'm setting the table so that we can create an AI agent that will create MDX-based Markdown articles and push it to some location, S3, that we can then pull into the site. Here, I'll show you. I already have a working version of this. So if you go to knowledge.cloudelephants.com, this whole site was built using V0 and AI, and it grabs an article from S3 and presents it. My computer's going very slow because I'm uploading content right now. Whew. That internet be slow. Maybe Cox has said, you're done. Well, it's not working. It's going very, very slow. Whenever that decides to load, it will show you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so these first improvements are being run right now. You can see it walking through the console, running commands. You can see it thinking and what it's doing in real time. Pretty powerful and amazing. Craze-mazing is what the kids might say. So tomorrow, what we're going to be doing is working on the logo, working on the content and copy, and getting images ready, potentially with Midjourney. Actually, that's a lot for 2 hours, but we'll get the logo done and finalized tomorrow, hopefully. And we'll get the logo installed. We'll get some of the images from the customer's portfolio. We'll add those to the site. Oh, that's actually right. I need a gallery and a portfolio. Create a portfolio page that can take lists of images with descriptions as cards that showcase the work the company has done. Ensure to follow the neo-brutalist design pattern and allow for the gallery images to be viewed in a full screen modal with arrow keys that make it easy for customers to view the different parties planned by Images should be in cards with optional descriptions and titles, and the gallery view should allow for easy navigation. Okay, not a great spec, but we're getting it. So we kicked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks in parallel. Here's the first one. Let's see what it did on our first set of basic improvements. Yeah, I got a problem. I got a problem on this website for some reason. There we go. Must be something with that document. So this page pulls, this was an AI analysis written by an N8N agent that does an ROI calculation for a child care center as part of a demo I did. And this page basically grabs any document and interprets it for the user. And here's one that does a linked bit of lesson planning for a parent. So these demos are on my website. If you go to cloudelephants.com/childcare curriculum development demo, you'll get an example of that. Okay, so let's see what it did here. It updated my git ignore, which is nice. Interested in what that changes for. I don't actually know what that means. I should. Oops, suppress hydration warning. You can silence the hydration. Cool. Basically tells the browser to ignore certain warnings. So we have a theme provider, which is the new thing that's added. That will give us the ability to define the dark mode and light mode. It updated the title just like we asked. It updated the border width just like we asked. It added the header toggle. It removed the home link. So these are the things that we asked for. So let's go ahead and create the pull request. And it will take these changes, push them to GitHub. So now we've got multiple agents working in parallel on the Just Lovely website that we kicked off about an hour ago. And we used V0, which is a little bit more expensive from my standpoint, and requires sort of one-to-one. Well, maybe there are other features that I'm not aware of. Please let me know if I'm missing. But great tool, no shade. I just have found that a foundation in V0 that's sort of a visual back and forth allows me to set the foundation if I have a common theme and design pattern. So, oh, looks like we got a build fail. So let's go ahead and see what happened. Failed to compile. So we'll take this and request changes. So the PR didn't compile, but now it will hopefully go and fix that. Let's see if there's anything else done. Okay, so this is the agent's MD. Okay, it's telling you to write TypeScript, right? This is basic. So this is going to be a very simple one. This adds instructions for AI agents using the app, and this is a good foundation, a good best practice. There's other ways of doing this too, but Agents MD is the one that OpenAI recommends. And since we're using Codex, it's a great start. And I think Cursor respects it too. So right now we can see this is building. It should successfully build because this doesn't make any code changes. And hopefully that will buy us some time to get other responses back. Oh. So it looks like we have a compilation failure here. That's the same one as here. So that's strange because there shouldn't be any code changes since our initial installation and setup. I see a question from Vicky DeLoe. Why can't I see my ChatGPT 5 yet? No kidding, right? Yeah, it's very difficult to wait. Let's see if I got it yet. De donde es? Où se trouve GPT-5? No dice. Come on. Man, my computer is slow. Sounds like a helicopter. Goodness gracious. Still nothing. Got no GPT-5 love yet. Thanks for your message, Vicky. Yeah, I guess if we get people ever watching this, and again, no expectation, but now I can get chat messages in here. That's cool. I didn't even know that I had that set up. So yeah, ask questions if you have any. I can now see them. So once we get this building, and hopefully this isn't like the curse of live demos where we have things breaking for complex and ambiguous reasons, but again, we might just pick up where we left off tomorrow. I have working versions of this in other contexts like I'd shown you. So the thing we're trying to find here is how do we get Codex to work on a v0 based app, making changes in parallel in a way that compiles so we can see the live preview and safely deploy changes to our website. The upside of this is custom websites are going to get, a lot easier to build and a lot cheaper. We're going to need to do some waiting and staring at the screen while that happens, or again, phone chess. So this is running the build itself, and it looks like the build has to do with a font. Let's see. It failed to fetch the fonts in the build here. Maybe I didn't give, it's possible that I didn't give the environment access to the web, which I did not. Well, that's part of my problem, but that won't necessarily change anything in the immediate. So we got a blog. We can see if that blog will, I suspect the blog won't build either, but we can at least review the code. So here we have a blog page that grabs a list of posts, and very basic blog detail page that renders a content. Let's see if the content component, so there's a call to action. It's hard-coded, it should be dynamic, but we can merge it in and then update it later. Here's the promoted services component. Here's a very basic, so it does not expect any values to be passed through. There's the front matter. Here is the sort of post handling logic, right? So these are functions that get the posts and then give them back to the right page. I mean, this looks pretty good and simple, but again, I don't expect anything to compile until I have the build step fixed. Okay, let's see what is found. This is the right pass. This is the right step that we should have had. Okay, this could fix it. The global CSS file is what Brutalism Dev recommends. So let's see what deletions, if any. I hope this doesn't give me merge conflicts, but I've noticed every time I update pull request from Codex, I get merge conflicts, even if it's the same branch in just a subsequent step. But so let's see that update. Hopefully it triggers a new build. It did. Oh wait, maybe it didn't. There we go. I'm so excited. Let's monitor that build in real time. Hopefully it didn't break again. If it broke again, I might have to end the stream. Let's hope this, I don't want to end in a broken state, but some days that's just how it ends. There we go. It looks like it worked. Cool. So we'll go ahead, and it looks like it's got a dark mode. Let's visit the preview. I'm having a hard time remembering all the changes we asked for. So this is not quite ideal because in dark mode, it made all of the text white, which isn't quite what we're going for. It updated our font. We've got these really fun little animations. We're going to have better content and text from another PR, right? So we've got these fun little animations. Let's just check the responsiveness. I mean, that looks pretty good. Cool. I mean, that looks pretty good. Not perfect, right? Like there's some dark mode issues. Lovely full service, lovely setup and style. How it works, book your consultation. This is cool. I'm gonna have another. I'm liking the way this is evolving, for sure. So that's how it looks. Oops. I gotta go view that PR again. And then this is the step you'd take if you have your own GitHub. GitHub is free, so if you're building with an agent and want to use more than one agent, like we showed in this live stream, how to use V0 and how to use Codex and getting them to work together, I highly recommend having a GitHub account because it makes it very easy to seamlessly pull everything together. So we'll merge that pull request, and with that, we successfully have the beginnings of a custom website for lovely events that's going to interface with GoHighLevel and N8N for backend business admin automation. We have the ability to work with AI agents who are collaborating on making improvements to the site in real time. Let's see how many of those tasks have finished. All of the other tasks have finished. So this should now, this is a very safe PR because it only adds an agent's MD. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this in because I don't expect anything to change. So let's just see, let's just kind of let's let it ride a little bit. And go, you know what? We want that blog. We want that blog. We can't wait. We can't wait. Actually, let's go with that content and copy improvements. I think it looks like it responded with a question because I didn't see any code changes. It made small changes. So this did not follow my instructions so well, so I don't necessarily want that one. Let's go with the blog. Let's see. We like the blog. It's basic blog implementation. It's scaffold. So we'll go ahead and create the PR for it. And that way we can get agents to publish blog articles for us. That'll be something we'll do in a future episode. Do we call these episodes? Oh man, it didn't pull main. The build broke here too. So how do what files changed here? Well, we're not ending in a broken state because we got it working. Let's go ahead and look and see what happened. I'm thinking it's the same build step. Dear Codex, before you submit a pull request, you need to merge main. Oh, interesting. It's a different error. I'll have to introspect into why that's the case. Actually, I just need to tell it. I should have provided the error. All right, and then let's see that portfolio, the changes the portfolio to the portfolio page we asked for. So here's some like default portfolio items with placeholder images. Here's a portfolio gallery. It adds a portfolio link, which is fantastic. Does it have a modal? It does have left and right toggles. Dialogue content. So that, let's see if this one works. Hopefully this one doesn't break immediately too. There shouldn't be any new dependencies here. All right. Let's watch that build. Fingers crossed. We'll add another feature. Then we'll be able to test it and look at it and be like, oh, that's nice. And hopefully tomorrow will be, oh no, same thing. Oh, this is the CSS. So this is that previous issue that I was expecting to see last time. So that's because it didn't merge main. I genuinely don't know if this is possible. I've given them access. All right, let's check and see if we got GPT-5 yet. No. ¿Por qué, María? ¿Por qué? Okay. So I think let's just review what we went over today. We worked with Midjourney, Perplexity, and ChatGPT to come up with logo concepts. And we created a logo that we proposed to our customer that they've subsequently said, that's terrible, I don't like it. But we can at least see the artifact of our work. Feedback that they gave, and sometimes just getting to the part of the universe where you know what someone doesn't like or what they want is actually very useful, because in my experience with clients, they rarely know what they positively want until they can say what they don't want. So someone's got to go first. And thanks to AI, we didn't go really deep into the process to figure out exactly what they wanted, but they can say, okay, now I know I want something on the back end, and it looks like they're going to want a flower. I have some messages to review to see what they like. We then worked with V0 to come up with a prototype website and connected to GitHub, and published that website, that Just Lovely website, and made some changes. And again, got to work on the dark mode to make sure the fonts show up in the cards. But wow, I mean, I think we've made pretty good progress in an hour. Or total now 2.5 hours. So it'll be even more exciting to watch things happen once we're plugging together N8N and GoHighLevel into this front-end experience. One of the things to note, back in the day, the jam stack, JavaScript and Markdown, was a way to build websites that pulled together APIs. Some people say JavaScript APIs and Markdown. Pulled together services from across the web into a common customer experience. So that's what we're doing here. We're building a Jamstack AI first app. We're vibe coding it. We started with Rick Rubin, and so maybe that's where we should end. Art of vibe coding. And we'll read what we read to start, and we will call it a day, because if we are vibe coding, then we want to align with the DAO as we vibe code. So with this, I will send you off and bid you farewell for now. Look forward to tomorrow. The code that can be named is not the eternal code. The function that can be defined is not the limitless function. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things. Free from desire, you see essence unformed. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. These two spring from the same source, but differ in name only. This model is the mystery, the gateway to all understanding.